Pokémon Legends ZA has finally arrived to return Pokémon fans to the Kalos region of Gen 6 for the first time in 12 years. The second installment in the Legends franchise, ZA shares some similarities with its predecessor, Arceus, but there's still new mechanics that even the most dedicated Pokémon fan will have to learn. This includes real-time battles and the wild zones where wild Pokémon live in harmony with the city and get caught and beaten up by the local trainer community. And naturally, we have some tips for you to get cracking quickly because there's a big old city full of Pokemon here and they're not going to catch themselves. Visit every Pokemon Center early on. Lumiose is a big city, and while exploring it is fun, there will be times where you just want to get to a certain location quickly. You could take a taxi, but thankfully, there's a free option available. Nearly every important location, be it a wild zone, Pokemon Center, or just a simple cafe, acts as a fast travel spot, though it's important to note that you need to have visited this location at least once to unlock its fast travel capabilities. This is why it's a really good idea to visit every single Pokemon Center early on in your playthrough. Since each Pokemon Center occupies a central location in its chosen district, you'll be able to zap across Lumiose City no problem, and it will be quite annoying when you realise you've forgotten to unlock one. Trust us. You'll also hopefully unlock some other useful fast travel spots during your travels. Pokemon outside of wild zones can be caught. Lumiose City, Luminosity, I just got that, is teeming with Pokemon, and they're not all confined to wild zones. You'll find Pidgeys hopping about the rooftops, the odd Trubbish hanging out by a bin, and might even spot a Pansage sitting in a treetop. At first you might think these Pokemon are simply set dressing, but they can be caught. In fact, some of these Pokemon might not even appear in a wild zone. So toss your Pokéballs, just keep in mind that they can still flee or engage you in battle. The only Pokemon you can't catch are those belonging to other trainers. Sadly, you don't have a snag machine in Legends ZA. A little red X will appear over any off-limits Pokemon when you're aiming a Pokeball at it. Certain Pokemon only appear at night in wild zones. Yes, most Pokemon fans will already know this fact, but we thought it was worth pointing out as when you first start Legends ZA, it may seem like this isn't the case, yet there are a number of Pokemon who will only appear in some wild zones at night. Not every wild zone follows this rule, so it's important to keep track of which Pokemon you have and haven't seen in a wild zone. Thankfully, this can be easily done using the map. Always be sneaky when catching Pokemon. While it might be easier to knock a Pokemon's health down to catch it, this is not a necessity in Legends ZA. Instead, there's always a chance you might catch a Pokemon if you toss out a Pokeball before the fight starts. There's even some Pokemon which will refuse to fight you, fleeing instead if they see you. Due to this, it's also best to engage in a bit of stealth before attempting to catch a Pokemon. Gotta catch them all, but quietly. ZA Royale is the best way to XP grind. Since the majority of wild Pokemon are confined to the wild zones, it can make using them to XP grind quite tricky. Thankfully, the quick nature of the ZA Royale is perfect for leveling up your Pokemon. If you know the layout of the current night's battle zone, well, you can easily get up to 20 battles, maybe even more. Just remember to take the time to heal your Pokemon. Sell the items in your treasury inventory slot. These items have literally no other purpose than being sold, so there's no point in keeping them around. How else are you meant to collect all the clothes Lumiose City has for sale? It's also worth checking on this slot regularly, as you'll pick up some items, especially the tiny mushrooms, automatically when exploring the city. Collect colourful screws. These items are the purple Pokeballs you'll often find at the top of sections of scaffolding. Once you've built up a collection, visit Racine Construction. Here you'll exchange your screws for a variety of Canary plushes. Each plush has its own bonus, ranging from increasing the amount of EXP your Pokemon are earning to improving your chances of catching Pokemon in the first place. Each plush also has a level, so you can increase the bonuses you're receiving from them. Retrieve your lost Pokéballs from the man at Pokémon centers. Seeing a Pokémon escape a Pokéball is a sad moment because not only do you have to toss out another, but you've just lost some cash. Not all Pokéballs grow on trees. After all, there's an extra way to lose Pokéballs in the Legends series though. Since you can throw them before even starting an encounter, it's possible to completely miss your targeted Pokémon if your aim isn't true. It's a sad moment to watch the Pokéball go wide or fall short. Good news though, in ZA, lost Pokéballs don't vanish into the void, because if there's a true hero of Lumiose City, it's the guy who returns your lost Pokéballs. This nameless legend travels the streets and wild zones collecting any balls you've thrown awry, just to return them to you for free. Eurogamer salutes you, Pokéball collecting man. Health items have a cooldown timer. Legend ZA is the first mainline Pokemon to embrace real-time battling, and this has led to a few changes in the traditional battling mechanics. A major difference you need to be prepared for is that health items now have a cooldown, and the number you can use depends on the battle. Typically, however, it's only one at a time. After you've used a health item, a little timer will appear at the bottom of the screen. Once that timer is filled, you'll be able to use another. Just manage your time wisely. TMs can be used as many times as you like. In many of the past mainline Pokemon games, including the recent Scarlet and Violet, TMs can only be used once. Thankfully, you can use each TM as many times as you like in Legends ZA. This is perfect for experimenting with a Pokemon's moveset or quickly removing an obstacle if you don't want to switch out a party member. It also removes any worry of using an important TM on the wrong Pokemon. Explore the whole of Lumiose City. You never know what you'll find. This might seem like a silly tip, but trust me, you want to properly cover the whole of Lumiose City, both on ground and on roof. Not only are there items hidden everywhere, but certain Pokemon will only appear on roofs. You might even spot a Pokemon you've been looking for on an opposite roof. Just make sure you know how to get there. To check whether a wild zone has a roof section, simply zoom in on your map and see if it overlaps with a building or two. Which brings us to, higher ranked trainers typically hide on roofs during the ZA Royale. If you really want an XP boost, then you should try fighting a trainer who has a higher rank than you in the ZA Royale. There's always the risk that they'll be able to completely destroy your team, but the XP gained if you win is worth the risk of a perilous rooftop battle in Lumiose City. Wait, if it's based on Paris, shouldn't it be Lumois City? Lumois Ville? Arrondissement? Centre Pokémon? Lumiose sounds like a toilet cleaner. Anyway, like and subscribe for more tip videos, features, reviews, gameplay streams, whatever you want.